Hey guys, it's Wolf of Dimensions and welcome back. As you can see, we have new art because this is a new segment featuring Godzilla this time. And before we go any farther, I'd like to thank GOODzilla for helping me out with this, even though it was not really that big of a deal. He went out of his way to help me, and I appreciate it for him answering my questions. So, what we're going to do today is the evolution of the Showa Godzilla as a character development point of view. Now, first we're going to start off with saying that 1954, the original Godzilla is of course dead. The rest of the Godzilla is known as the Hero Godzilla, and there's a reason why. Of course, let's go with 1955, another force of nature destructive Godzilla, skinnier this time, probably a different type of Godzillasaur, is found fighting Anguirus. At the end of their fight, he of course is frozen in ice and put in hibernation. Now, we don't know how radiation would affect these type of creatures, especially even dinosaurs, and what it would have the effect would be. So what I believe is that his appearance evolves over time as his body has different effects on him, and the situations he's put into. Because next we go to Godzilla vs. King Kong. He is more of a reptile, more instinct-based. And his fighting strategy shows that. Even though he has moments where he is actually smarter for his battles he uses against Kong. And his design is more of that of a lizard, face-wise anyways, and he's a bit bulkier than he was in the past movie. So we move on to afterwards, after his fight with Kong and he's thrown in the water. What he does is that he goes and he hibernates in the place where he's found in Godzilla vs. Mothra after that lake is drained. When he's found, he of course pops back up because the water was drained out, and he's evolved a bit more from the previous one. His head's different, his spines are different. He's evolved slightly to his environment of the time, and the situation he's present in. Which means that as he fights Mothra, he's still a force of nature. He roams, he destroys, no pure thought process. And then we get to GODzilla the three-headed monster. Godzilla does indeed have a conscience, but he doesn't really care about humanity because they've always treated him like a bad guy, which is the same for Rodan. So he gets into the role where he has to be the good guy. It's his only option to make sure that he ends up being alive and the Earth is alive. And that's where the role starts out for Godzilla being a hero. And then we go to, of course, Invasion of the Astro Monster. And again, it's an issue of circumstance. He doesn't care for people, but he wants to save Earth, his home, and himself. So it's more of survival. Now, as we get into the later series, into the 70s, we observe that his body changes into a body more fit for fighting different monsters, probably a very quick evolution to his years of fighting monsters, because in 64, when he fights Mothra, he's big, he's bulky, and he even trips at times, and he really only throws rocks, especially even fighting GODzilla. But as we get into the 70s, he boxes, he can use his tail to slide. I mean, it really shows that he's adapted to the point he's in now, and he's more fond of people because they stopped treating him like the villain. So his character development grew, and what he was grew. And the Showa Godzilla represents this. Even a bad thing, a bad person, a bad creature, could still end up being the good guy. It's like it says here, hero, destroyer, both. It just depends on your point of view and how you look at it, and how he changes over time. So that is Godzilla's character development in the Showa era, and why he is like he is, why he physically evolves, because of radiation, because of the situation, the environment, why he ends up being the hero, and he ends up being the hero because of circumstance, and eventually acceptance. And that's how we get the hero Godzilla out of the timelines. And even later, the Godzillas of later timelines still happen to be partial anti-heroes. Well, thank you for watching, guys. If you like this more of a Godzilla and more of an outward than just Star Wars, like, comment, and if you want to, subscribe, and I will be making more of this stuff. Thank you, have a nice day.